Yeah, I'm in their hotel right now.
I see. That sounds tough.
I'm really sorry for not being able to pick you up.
No, don't worry about it. More importantly, is that person okay?
Yeah, they're fine. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the bone. Walking shouldn't be a problem as long as it's slow.
Thank God. It would be such a shame if they weren't able to leave the hotel despite coming to such a beautiful city. Haruki-kun?
Anyway, sorry, but I'll stay here until this person's traveling partner comes along.
Okay, that's fine. I can find the hotel by myself. And the cathedral is amazing. I can see it from any part of the city.
I might not make it in time for the Christmas Mass, but I promise to meet up with you later. I'm sorry.
Like I said, there's no need to apologize. After all, it's so like you to take care of other people, even when you're on vacation, Haruki-kun.
I'm sorry.
See you then. I'm going to check myself in.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Setsuna. I borrowed a first aid kit. I told you that you didn't have to go that far. Can I come in now? Aren't you going to the Christmas Mass too, Haruki? You won't make it in time if you don't go now, right? But I have to disinfect and bandage you. Can I not enter? Come in. Sorry. Why are you apologizing? After needlessly poking your nose in other people's affairs. Isn't that why I'm apologizing? Hurry up and come in. It's cold. All right. What am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Kazusa said that she didn't need any medical treatment. She said she didn't need my help anymore. On the contrary, my mere presence in this room is probably causing her pain. For now, there is no weird meaning behind this. This is important for the treatment, just so you know. Don't beat around the bush. Just give me the gist. Take off your stockings. All right. You pervert. I knew you were going to say that, so I'm not going to panic. In fact, it's only natural that she'd think that. Barging into a woman's room in the middle of the night and asking her to do something so easily misconstrued. Hey, don't undress in front of me, you idiot! Despite that, this particular woman is far too obedient and defenseless. She doesn't see me as a man anymore. Hot. Try to bear it. It's almost frostbitten, so I have to warm it. It's hot, it hurts, and now my wound stings. Like hell I can bear this. Don't be selfish. Even though I try to get her to soak her feet in the wash basin, Kazusa only dips the tip of her toes before immediately pulling back. You call this being selfish? You'd understand if it were in my shoes, Haruki. I wouldn't walk barefoot in the snow in the first place. You cold-hearted brute. If my blood was already cold, I wouldn't get frostbite. Here, I'll wipe it for you. Kazusa tries to get at me about every little thing, but I ignore her and wipe her feet with the warm, wet towel. After cleaning away the dirt around her wound, I wipe the back of her feet and between her toes. Constantly dipping the towel in the warm water, I make sure her whole foot regains its temperature. How about your ankles?
Not a single problem?
Even if I press here?
Not really.
Don't say that right after gasping for air.
I'm fine.
How about here then? You're not fine at all.
Only because you pressed too hard, Haruki.
I can't grasp the symptoms otherwise. As I thought, I'll need to put a compress on this, then bandage it.
If you do that, I won't be able to go out tomorrow either. You'll ruin my vacation.
You reap what you sow. Give it up.
Well, excuse me.
Anyway, I'll disinfect it first. After that comes the compress and the bandage.
Geez, what a pain in the ass.
Only because you got yourself bruised and scratched at the same time. Come on, hold your leg out. This might sting a bit, but try to bear it.
Like I can?
You will. Once Kazusa finally calms down, I grab her foot and clean the wounded area with cotton batting containing disinfectant. Her expression suggests that it still hurts, but it's nothing like when I touched her ankle. So I breathe a sigh of relief and focus on treating her first wound. Somehow, I get the feeling something like this happened in the past, too. Kazusa would complain over and over again over my nosiness, but she would always accept what I did, no matter what she said. I remember now. It happened 3 days before the school festival. Kazusa caught a fever and collapsed. Finding her like that, I panicked and called the doctor. I made her rice porridge and practiced the guitar by her side. Hey, come to think of it. No, it's nothing. Am I an idiot? What would be the point in bringing up the events of 5 years ago now? What would it accomplish after all this time? To tell the person I shared those memories with that those memories are precious to me. Next, I'm applying the compress. Once I'm done covering her wound, I move on to her ankle. When I peel off the adhesion sheet from the compress, Kazusa grimaces at the familiar smell. But after a single stern glance from me, she pretends that nothing is wrong and looks the other way. I'll pretend that guilt is behind that gesture. It's the most convenient interpretation. All right, all done here too. She had an adhesive and a compress on. The different layers of white cloth wrapping around Kazusa's already white feet coat it with an even more unnatural whiteness. But there is one final procedure left. I need to bandage them, making it look even more unnatural. But still, is it still cold? I can tell her feet are freezing just by touching them. If I put on a bandage like this, she might have a harder time with the frostbite. Perhaps we really should warm it with some hot water.
That's obviously not possible anymore.
Because of the adhesive and the compress, pouring hot water on her feet is no longer possible. That was something I anticipated, but Kazusa is the one who called out this predicament.
That's enough. I'll do the rest myself.
Kazusa.
I'm not the least bit graceful, but I'll follow common etiquette and say thanks. Thanks.
I doubt I could ever become friends with anyone who'd be happy to hear that.
I'm joking. You came here to attend the Christmas Mass too, right? You can still make it in time if you go now.
It's true though. All that's left is to bandage it. So I imagine that Kazusa will be able to do that by herself. In fact, I'm certain all of the treatment I've given her could have been done alone. But you'll miss it too. The Christmas Mass.
I can't go with my feet in this state. I'll be a good girl for tonight.
That's why I have no obligation to poke my nose in any further. It's just as Kazusa says. If I go now, I'll just barely make it in time. If I hurry and call Setsuna, we might even be able to meet up. That's the obvious right answer for me right now. Because I belong to Setsuna now.
See ya, Haruki. Merry Christmas.
There is only one choice. Hot!
Are you stupid?
For whose sake do you think this is?
I never asked you to.
Come on, out with your feet. I went to the sink and got another bowl of hot water with a temperature of almost 50 degrees Celsius. My hands turned red as soon as I put them in the water. It's cold. In order to cool down my burning hands, I touched something cold as ice. Kazusa's feet. How is it?
I feel a tingle.
Does that mean you've gotten your sensation back?
Maybe.
While avoiding her wound, I wrap both my hands around her right foot. Heat dissipates from my palms and fingers and mixes with the cold in Kazusa's foot. I keep touching her feet like that for a while. When the heat is gone from my hands, I gently move my hands and massage her foot. Tell me if it hurts.
It tickles a bit.
Try to bear it.
Okay.
I push against the sole of her foot with my fingers, rub her toes with my palm, and tightly grab hold of her whole foot in order to get her blood circulating a little. Her flexing her muscles in her feet will also help get the blood flowing. What in the world am I doing? This isn't something you normally do to a female friend. Actually, doing this to anyone but Setsuna is extremely problematic. How is it?
I can move my toes a little bit now.
Then let's go with your left foot next.
Okay. I'll say it again. It's hot.
Well, it'll be better than before. After all, my hands are colder than your feet by now.
Is that so?
It is so. Come on, out with your left foot. I wipe my now red hands with a towel and then wrap them around Kazusa's left foot. As the heat from my hands permeates Kazusa's skin, she looks up at the ceiling and lets out a deep breath. Personally, I'd prefer it if she didn't make that kind of sound. Once the heat dissipates from my hand, I massage her foot to get her blood circulating again, just like with the other foot. Kazusa's small, white, and soft foot. It still hasn't regained its warmth. It remains unnervingly cold. I'm done here too. I'll change the water and do it again.
Okay.
Kazusa isn't saying, I'll do it myself, go attend the Christmas Mass, or see you later anymore. She's doing everything I tell her, and holds out her feet without resistance. Perhaps because she's given up lecturing me on my nosiness. We continue this monotonous, guilt-ridden procedure, as if time has stopped exclusively within this room. Right foot.
Okay.
Just like that, I alternate my hands between Kazusa's feet, soaking them in hot water whenever I switch between her left foot and her right. Each time I alternate, Kazusa's feet slowly, very slowly, regain their original temperature. Christmas Mass has already started. Kazusa is sitting on the bed, holding out her feet. I'm sitting on my knees, massaging and warming her up with the heat of my palms. If an onlooker were to see this, they'd probably confuse this with some kind of master-servant roleplay. At the very least, it would look very strange. Hey! But from our point of view, our relationship is completely different from such a strange relationship. Were you on vacation?
What about you?
Work. I got a job at a publishing company this year.
You're a fully fledged adult now, huh? To think that the Haruki I knew would ever...
A little overdue, perhaps.
I see. You even graduated from university.
It's been 5 years, after all.
It really has been 5 years.
Yeah. The conversation moves forward, but we can't get into it, and our eyes never meet. Just like during our reunion a few hours ago, I merely look at Kazusa's feet, never trying to meet those eyes of hers. But that's not because I'm indifferent. It's plain to see that I'm only trying to feign indifference. After all, ever since I entered this room, there's something I've been dying to know. So, anyway. But I can't. If I ever trespass on that territory. Are you here with someone? Don't ask her.
Why do you think that? That I'm not alone, I mean.
Well, this is a twin room, and there's the amount of luggage.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know who's with me?
Come on. I just said I couldn't.
Are you that interested in the man I'm with?
If Kazusa truly is with a man, I'm sure I'll be deeply hurt, despite having no right to. And regardless if the person with her is a man or not, asking her something like that is...
Just kidding. It's Yoko. She forced me out here yesterday. She said that she wanted to attend the Christmas Mass in Strausburg, out of nowhere.
I see. So that's how it is. I shouldn't be feeling relieved at those words. I shouldn't look so visibly pleased at that answer. I don't have the right.
You too.
I told you this would happen.
You're here with someone, right? You were making a phone call.
If I ask, I'll have to eventually answer the question myself. Why would I ask her when I knew that?
Is it a coworker?
It's impossible to answer in a way that can reassure Kazusa. Why would I want to reassure her in the first place?
Is it someone from outside of work?
Would Kazusa be reassured if I was alone? Why am I treating the possibility of me having no one precious by my side as something good?
Is it Setsuna?
As I am right now, I cannot face that question without a reaction.
I see.
And Kazusa doesn't fail to notice the very slight downward movement of my head.
So, that's how it was.
Yeah. Kazusa's foot slowly slips away from my hand. But right now, I don't have the strength to grab them again. nor do I have the sense of obligation or any necessity to.
So, you came here together. You came all this way to France with Setsuna.
Kinda. Kazusa stares at the ceiling again and lets out a sigh. It's a listless sigh devoid of emotion, unlike the anxious sigh she had let out a moment ago.
When, the two of you.
The question leaking from Kazusa's mouth can be interpreted in two ways. She could be asking about the future or the past, but right now, I find myself unable to pettily lecture her about providing the specific instructions behind her question. That's why I'll answer honestly about the one thing I do want to tell her. I plan to do it soon, if she's okay with it, that is.
Huh?
After making my decisive declaration to Kazusa, my eyes look towards the closet. Inside the pocket of one of the coats placed inside is a particular item that I'll propose to Setsuna with. That magic ring gives me courage. The courage to finally face the lingering feelings from my past. The courage to end this adventure.
How nice for you. I think she could do much better than you.
I think so too.
Setsuna is a really, really good girl after all. She's even forgiven all that I've done.
Yeah.
You couldn't find a better girl than her if you searched the whole world. She's adorable, kind, pure-hearted, and devoted. And she won't run away like I did.
I know that. Kazusa is singing Setsuna's praises. She's giving the two of us her blessing. She's saying words that are fitting for someone who's Setsuna's friend. She's acting in a way that's appropriate towards her friend's boyfriend.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yes, I see.
But Kazusa hasn't realized the fatal contradiction lurking within her upright attitude.
I wish you both happiness. Though, that goes without saying.
Setsuna is nearby, yet Kazusa has yet to utter a single word about wanting to meet her, even though she can contact her at any time, even though Setsuna would come running here if only I told her about Kazusa. Despite that, Kazusa stubbornly refuses to ruin the time we're currently spending together. Congratulations to you too, Kazusa. The Giovanni competition. You were amazing.
Not at all. I only came in 4th place,
But you won a prize in a competition that even non-classical music fans know about. Every single person in Japan knows your name now, And I don't resist that peaceful flow of conversation.
What's that supposed to mean? Since when?
There wasn't a single news station that didn't mention your name on the day of the announcement. I must have watched that interview at least 10 times on TV.
Give me a break. Why do Japanese people always have to react so strangely?
In the end, I'm incapable of putting an end to the last struggle. I can't settle matters by myself. I'm simply waiting for time to run out. There we go. Okay, can you stand up?
Somewhat.
In the end, I secured her right ankle with a bandage, and her treatment ended. Does it hurt? Is it uncomfortable?
No, I'm fine on both ends.
Kazusa starts limping around a bit, but it doesn't look like she's in too much pain. Without moving her right ankle, she shows me she can walk. This time, I can truly believe her when she says she's fine. That's why... Well then, I should be...
Yeah.
I have no purpose here anymore. Say hello to Yoko-san for me.
I'll tell her.
I open the closet and take out my coat. If I said I'm doing this without reluctance, I can't say for sure myself whether that'd be a lie or not. But for the time being, I managed to avoid any overbearing restlessness or maddening loneliness. Instead, just like in Kazusa's case a short while ago, a languid feeling of uncertainty slowly permeates my body. Get well soon, okay? I look at the clock to see it's already 1:30 in the morning. Around the time the Christmas Mass ends, I could neither fulfill my promise to spend Christmas Eve with Setsuna, nor our 1-week rule. I set that all aside, made excuses, and lied. All because I chose to spend my time with Kazusa instead. My self-hatred for my choice, my guilt towards Setsuna, these feelings pierce my heart like an ice pick. How am I supposed to face Setsuna now? What could I say to make her forgive me? Good night.
Haruki!
Huh?
Are you departing tomorrow?
Because my mind alone was in a different place. I never noticed Kazusa's desperate expression until now.
Are you returning to Japan?
Was I the only one who thought I had no purpose here anymore?
Well, not that there's any meaning in asking that. After all, we only met by chance on our vacations. And besides, you're with Setsuna.
Kazusa? Was I the only one who changed my mind?
There's no meaning behind it. It's just that I met someone I knew from Japan after a long time, so I felt a bit homesick, is all.
Could it be that Kazusa... Have you not heard about tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Tomorrow?
I see. It seems that this final disconnect was a result of an information gap. I knew there was a tomorrow. Kazusa thought today is all she had. In that case, see you tomorrow then.
Huh?
Thanks to Kazusa's lack of information. No, due to her lack of information, I managed to catch a glimpse of her true thoughts. My uncertainty flies away in an instant, and various thoughts float around in my head. I have no recollection of how I returned to my hotel after that. I only remember that when I came to, I was standing in front of the bed that Setsuna was sleeping on. I stroked her cheeks, gave her a light kiss, laid down on the sofa, and closed my eyes. But I couldn't sleep a wink. December 25th, Tuesday.
Most of the snow has melted.
Yeah, December 25th, a little past 7 a.m. It seems that the snow that fell during the night had turned into rain when the date changed. The snow covering the city disappeared, and so did the rain by the time morning came. Instead, a mist steaming from the river covers the city, engulfing it in whiteness once again. But right now,
What's the matter? You look down.
Not at all. I see wooden houses that look like they've been taken straight out of the Middle Ages, and the ethereal morning mists on the riverbank. Although one would usually be left in awe in such sceneries, I only process them with my eyes and not my mind.
Did you catch a cold? You should have just used the bed. It's because you slept on the sofa that this happened.
I didn't want to wake you, Setsuna. I pile on yet another lie. I mask not waking Setsuna under a pretense of thoughtfulness, because back then I had no right to touch Setsuna's warm skin.
I wouldn't have minded that, obviously.
Sorry, I'm really sorry.
No, I should be the one saying sorry for not being able to stay awake until you came back, Haruki-kun.
Setsuna, I'm sorry.
That's enough. I'll feel bad too if you look so apologetic.
My utter guilt over my foul play yesterday has been camouflaged as something else. I was unable to meet Setsuna on Christmas Eve. I was unable to meet Setsuna for a week. I even ruined the Christmas Mass that Setsuna was looking so forward to.
Haruki-kun, you did the right thing. Show a bit more pride over that.
The fact that I've done something so horrible to Setsuna only served to increase my persuasiveness.
Besides, we were able to meet like this. We're walking the streets of Strausburg together. That's enough for me.
That's why Setsuna doesn't notice the contents of my heart. She's misreading my regret.
When will you start working today?
From 10 in the morning. I think I'll be done by 5 o'clock in the evening.
Then perhaps we can spend the night together. We might even be able to go sightseeing.
I promise. I'll make up for yesterday, no matter what.
Like I said, don't be so absolute. I'm fully aware that it's more unheard of for one's job to go as planned than not.
No, I get it. I'll do my best.
Yes, that level of assurance is just right. As long as you do your best for me, I'm happy.
Thank you. Normally, I'd consider her declaration a bit selfish. But this is our vacation, in Europe on top of that. There's no one we know in this environment other than each other. I'm also aware that Setsuna is trying to be considerate.
Well then, should we go back to the hotel? I think it's about time for breakfast. Don't you think so?
Yeah. I grab Setsuna's outstretched left hand with my right, and my other hand is holding the small box in my pocket. In the end, I missed the perfect timing of Christmas Eve, and it's all my fault.
I'm excited to see what they'll have. I didn't have any time yesterday, so I went to a burger place in the airport.
I wouldn't have high expectations for breakfast if I were you. I've heard it's not that different from Japan. In exchange, put all your expectations into tonight's meal.
Okay, I'll temper my expectations.
Leave it to me, temperately. I feel a warmth coming from Setsuna's hand and her words. I feel a warmth coming from Setsuna's hands and words. Along the way back to the hotel, I feel my resolve being renewed. I can't keep bearing these guilty feelings. I can't remain in this beautiful yet painful place. So I'll bear it for one more day. I'll finish Kazusa's interview and then go back to Japan immediately. Setsuna and I will go back to where we belong. I'm Kitahara from Kyosha. I look forward to working with you today. Thank you very much for accepting our unreasonable request when you're as busy as you are. Yoshimatsu, the chief editor, told me to relay his best regards, too.
Guitar-kun?
I'm Kitahara. It's been a while. I've only been called that once until now, but it somehow fills me with nostalgia. It was an impactful meeting, after all. So, where is Kazusa-san?
Wait a second. Please wait a minute before going in.
Doma-san?
I never imagined things would turn out like this. Why are you here?
I got employed by Kyosha this year.
Well, congratulations. I see. You've graduated from university now. My, how you've grown.
Thank you very much. And for some reason, even though she's only met me once, it seems I've left a profound impression on her as well.
Setting that aside, this is unfortunate.
Is there a problem?
You think there isn't one? If that girl were to see you all of a sudden, she's liable to break into a panic.
We've already met yesterday, and it was me who broke into a panic, not Kazusa. But even setting that aside, this whole ordeal makes little sense. The ones who approved of this interview was Toma Yoko's office. Yet, the very president of the company doesn't even know the name of the interviewer? And yesterday, Kazusa and I...
It's fine. Let him in.
Kazusa!
I don't care who it is. Let's get this over with quickly and send him on his way.
From inside the room, I hear a not quite nostalgic voice. A laid-back, cold, business-like voice. If someone else were to hear it, they'd surely think that she hates interviews.
Did you know? And you didn't know?
I met Kazusa yet again after gathering a grim resolve that this would be the last time, only for our meeting to start with my resolve getting countered. Anyway, after the interview is over, we'll be taking pictures. The cameraman will show up at around 3 o'clock.
Pictures? Are you kidding me? All right. Make sure you make her look pretty, okay? She has always looked really unfriendly, so try to keep that side of her hidden.
That sums up our plans. Do you have any questions?
Everything is fine. Let's begin without any further ado.
What about you, Kazusa-san?
Do whatever you want.
Come to think of it, is your footbed...
What are you talking about?
Anyway, let's begin. Pleased to work with you. At the agreeable consent of the target of my interview, I press the button on the voice recorder and put it on the table. First off, I'd like to congratulate you on winning a prize at the Giovanni International Piano Competition.
That was many months ago. I've already forgotten about that nonsense. What she means is that she's already moved on to her next goal. You know, not getting caught up in past glory and always moving forward. What glory? Getting 4th place is as good as losing. Besides, why would I want to end up in the same position as Tomo Yoko? Kazusa, you're being immature. If you're going to interject every 2 seconds, then why don't you answer the questions instead? You've got a lot of guts running your mouth like that just because you won a prize at a competition that's barely relevant anymore. I just said I don't care. Besides, I was the first Japanese prize winner. You're the 8th Japanese person. What of it? Do you even have any idea how large a barrier it was for any non-European to compete back then? Nowadays, dozens of people cross the sea every year, and someone always wins something. It's not that rare at all. You always make arbitrary judgments to raise yourself above others like that. Who's being immature here?
I think both, actually. Let's continue. About your future plans. There are rumors of a possible concert in Japan.
I'm not going.
I see.
No. Currently, there are no plans. We do have plans for a concert tour outside of Europe, however. But I'm still not going to Japan. You can bet money on that.
Kazusa?
Are you relieved?
Your Japanese fans are dying for a chance to hear your performance live, though.
I'm not the one who decides. Not Tomoyoko, and certainly not. I don't care about where I was born, or any stupid sense of nostalgia. I fit in right here in Vienna, and I have no plans on moving.
I see. That's a shame.
Enough with the lip service already.
Hey, I can't just... No, I apologize. About Tomoyoko-san.
Just ask her directly. She's right here.
About Yoko-san, from your perspective, Kazusa-san, how do you see her as a mentor, a rival, and a mother?
My mentor is Flugel. This person hasn't taught me anything in these past few years. Because you're such a pain, that's why. And besides, I'm a bad teacher. Thanks to that, our skill gap isn't shrinking. I do admit that she's a tough nut to crack as a rival. That explains why it was snowing yesterday. This is the first time I've ever heard you say something so admirable. And as a mother, as you can see, she's awful. And this explains why it stopped snowing today.
Is that so? Listening to you talk up until now, it feels as though you're friends, or more like two sisters.
No matter how well our conversation goes, she can't function as a mother, so that can't be helped. Yes.
What do you mean, can't function?
She doesn't do any chores. She barely comes home, and even when she does, she brings a bunch of friends with her and makes a ruckus. Living with her isn't much different from when I lived by myself in the past.
In the past? When would that be? What were the circumstances?
You already know, you bastard.
But the readers don't.
I have no obligation to tell anyone about that. Anyway,
You're completely wrong. It's nothing like before.
What did you just say?
She's a great mother. What don't you like about her?
Everything that has to do with being a mother. She's the worst mother. Why can't people choose their parents?
That's what all kids say.
Are you picking a fight?
You started it, didn't you? How can a mother who brings her daughter with her on vacation be the worst?
I never said I wanted to go. She even hid this interview from me.
Yet you don't mind being with her at all, do you? She's a parent who can cheer you up just by being around you. And you don't plan on recognizing the value in that?
Don't compare her to your own parents. I don't give a damn about your own family issues.
What's wrong with being jealous? Why can't I envy you? You've even made up with her. There should be a limit to how good a person can have it.
Haruki, you...
Okay, that's enough, kids. Don't forget that you're working, the both of you.
You too, Guitar-kun. I'm happy that you're taking my side, but I'm not sure that it's a good idea to push your own opinions in an interview.
I'm sorry. Frankly speaking, Kazusa is merely joking around. It's a bit uncool for you to react so seriously.
Like hell, I'm only joking. A mother like you is. Be quiet, you idiot of a daughter. Don't get all excited just because you had a reunion with a boy from the past.
Or perhaps it's not quite past in your heart.
Be quiet, you idiot of a mother. I'll be quiet too, so be quiet.
Yes.
Well, to conclude, we're both to blame in this quarrel. Anyway, do continue, Kirahara. Do continue, Kayosha-san.
Well, I'm sorry. Moving on to the next question. If you hadn't chosen a career as a pianist, where would you see yourself today? Yoko-san?
Why are you looking at me?
Could you retract your be quiet to Kazusa-san?
Oh.
She's that kind of person, though I'm sure you're perfectly aware of that yourself.
You seem pretty knowledgeable yourself. If I hadn't become a pianist, that goes without saying, I'd be a shut-in.
I can't say I disagree, but...
You don't disagree? I'd have a house too big for me to live in by myself. I'd have more money than I could spend, and I'd even have helpers. I don't understand the logic of anyone who would work under those circumstances. Perhaps I really did raise her the wrong way. You didn't raise me the wrong way. After all, you didn't raise me at all back then. Yes. In truth, I wouldn't have gone to university or found a job once I graduated high school. I planned on having the time of my life as an idle, no-good shut-in. By the way, I'm still being forced to practice 10 hours a day in front of the piano so much every day it's almost a joke. It's all your fault.
Let's put this off the record. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. After bandaging up Kazusa's frostbit feet, fruit lovers eat your hearts out, they finally say their goodbyes, and Haruki goes back to Setsuna. But there's still that interview that needs to be finished. I wonder how that photo shoot's going to go. I bet Kazusa's not going to be enthusiastic about it.